Jumbo Mumbo Familia Angu. This is Eli, this is Eli-Ben-Eli, your babu, and I'm coming to you to thank all of you who have recently subscribed to my channel. Thank you to all of you who continue to subscribe to my channel. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I ask that you take an opportunity right now, to exercise the power that you are given by YouTube. Okay? And I'm assuming that maybe you get a little enjoyment out of my videos. If you do so, take a finger. Take one finger. Maybe you need two, but I think you only need one. And smash the subscribe button. Smash the like button. And after that, as the video goes on, if you have an idea that you want to express because of the video, or you have a certain view that you want to express, please go right ahead and do so. And I am man enough to accept whatever you think. I don't care. If you want to say something that you think is negative or an insult, go right ahead. Please consider your soul. Please consider the fact that you are a child of God and that I'm a child of God when you say whatever you have to say. And remember, once spoken, words cannot be taken back. And there are consequences to words. You know, and please, I want to tell you, I want to say something. I am your Babu Eddie, okay? But please do not discriminate against me because of my age. There are some of you who think that apparently once you get to a certain age, I don't know what it is, but a certain age, that the only thing that you should do is lay around waiting to die. You shouldn't have opinions. You shouldn't laugh. You shouldn't point out the mistakes that you see some of the people around you making. You shouldn't admit your mistakes. I'm a human being just like you, and I have a right to exist just like you. Don't deny me that right. That's called ageism. Don't engage in that. That's discrimination. That's like people who have prejudice against those who are black. And they say, oh, black people this and black people that. It has nothing to do with us. But they have negative feelings. There are people that are the same way about when a person is getting older. You know, it's almost like if they don't think that you should have a sex drive, they don't think you should have an opinion about anything. All that you're supposed to do is let them enjoy their life and cry when you die. You know, my attitude is give me my flowers now that I'm alive. And there are a lot of you, I'm going to tell you something that you may not want to hear. There are a lot of you who are young who will never live to be my age. Okay, so please be careful. The tongue is a very dangerous weapon, and it's a weapon that can destroy the user of the tongue quicker than it can the person that they're after. Okay, so, and while I'm on this subject, let me stop and say very quickly, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so, you know, but I just wanted to clarify something. I am prepared to give $1,000 US for anyone who finds a place in my community posts or in my videos where I said I hate Marwa or where I said I hate anybody. I don't hate Marwa. You know, as it happens, I'm going to stun a lot of you. Okay? I have a love in my heart for Marwa. I mean, why would I take the time to make comments about him and talk about him? I'm fascinated and I'm frightened by Marwa, what I see happening around Marwa. Okay? Just because you like and respect a person doesn't mean that you can't criticize them and you can't point out the wrong things that they're doing. You know, I don't like the way that Mara behaved at going into this party. I don't like accepting gifts. I don't like the way that he's treated people. No, how do I say that about accepting gifts? You know, in my culture, it's considered an insult if a person brings you a gift for you not to accept it. But, you know, what I don't consider to be an insult is if I know that you're not doing well and you bring me an insult, I'm within my right to say, my friend, you know, please don't make the sacrifice. If you want to, you can just go ahead and keep it. It's the thought that counts. But I don't hate Marwa. I have absolutely no hatred for Marwa. You want to know something? Again, I'm going to stun you. I'm very sad to hear that Marwa is sick. Okay, and it isn't people like me who have made Marwa sick. It's all of you so-called friends who have sucked the living life out of that man by begging him for collabos, begging him for shout-outs, and not giving him a moment of peace. Okay? If there was a time when me and Marwa used to communicate. If Marwa has any sense, he would remember that I was once SDA and he was once SDA, and I respected that about him. You know, and I respected his friendliness and his, you know, I have no hatred of Marwa. I don't have a hatred of any of you. You know, there are some of you who have said some horrible things about me, and I still reach out to you and am friendly to you. Why would I do that? I do that because, you know, I distinguish in between a clash of ideas versus a clash of personalities. I can disagree with everything that you believe. I can criticize everything that you do and still love you and still be your friend. Okay. But anyway, I want to go back to Marwa and make some comments. Once again, you know, there are two things that will conclude this series of videos about the fiesta at the Gorilla Villa in the Kenyan Manila. You know, I find the whole thing kind of funny. If you looked at the video, I forget who posted it. I think it was I in Paris, but I also saw part of it in some of the videos made by commentators. There came a point at which Congrats Dad made certain comments to the to the partygoers, and if I may paraphrase it and summarize it, what he said was, you know, the party's over when we're going to say prayers, and when the prayers are said, you know, you have 30 seconds to leave. I love that guy. It was like he was too well-mannered to come out and say, "Oh, get out of my compound. Get out of it." Oh. He didn't do that. He didn't quite put it that way. But what kind of person tells a guest in his home or in his son's home, you have 30 seconds to get out? You know, I remember when I used to go to church with Kenyans and other Africans. You know, it wasn't like it is for you folks in Africa. You own the church, or you build a church on land that has been donated. No, none of that. We rented a church, and there was always pressure on us to go ahead and vacate the premises after services unless we made special arrangements. And people wanted to linger and talk and everything, and all the while, those of us who had the responsibility of locking up the building would be telling them, yeah, go, you know, you can do that outside in the parking lot. That's what we call, I don't know, I think in Kenya you call it a car park, where all of the cars are parked, you know, which reminds me of Marwa's parking lot that was supposed to be filled with 10, 20, 30,000 cars at one time. People were going to be going, valet, come over here. I'm ready to go into the party. Why are you taking so much time? And the valets would have to be going, mos, pole, mos, pole. We're coming over there. Take it, please. Thousands of cars. Not one car. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. We would be trying to hurry people out, but people wanted to linger and talk. They hadn't seen each other in a few days, and I understand. Only a Seventh-day Adventist elder would tell people, you have 30 seconds to get out. 30 seconds to get out. What was he going to do? Probably come up with a big finger. Out! He'd probably threatening to hit people with a finger. Oh my God, that was really funny. And then there was the comedy of what the Bush engineer, who's an engineer only in his own imagination, what he suddenly did on the final day of the party. Finally, he claims that the gate is operational. Everything was done so that it could be closed, and this would lend a finality to the whole affair. I think that was all a lot of rubbish. Number one, I don't think that gate is actually completed. Number two, I don't believe that it's properly installed. Even at the last moment, he was saying, oh, this part is going to hit this part. We need to cut this and everything. And then the other thing is this. The Bush engineer was trying to show everybody how useful he is by hovering around, giving instructions, acting like if he was in total command of what was going on. And if you look carefully, they were ignoring him. He does not know anything about welding. He doesn't really know anything about laying cement. And he was saying, no, don't do that. And they just ignored him and kept doing what they were doing. The only reason that scammer is still there is because he has effectively scammed Mara into making him think that he's an engineer. He showed the fish pond and the work that's being done. The fish pond is still a big mess. It's still a hole full of mud and of muddy water with the sides tiled. Any fish that lives in that water should be given an award for living under impossible circumstances. But at the last minute he was claiming that the gate was working and blah, 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 blah. My attitude is that all that it takes is one strong wind and that gate will collapse, and crush anybody who's around. So I would advise people to keep a distance from that gate, and the controversy about the Mwango continues. I never would have believed that I would care in a positive way about the Mwango. To be honest with you, I don't hate the Mwango and I don't love the Mwango. I don't really pay her any attention, or that much attention, because I think that it seems improper for a man to be commenting on the behavior of a young woman. But I will say this, okay? Forget that she's a young woman. Look at her as a sibling. I maintain that the biggest battle in the life of a younger brother or sister is to establish their own identity, to establish their own life, to, have the right to tell their older brothers and sisters, you do not run my life. You're not the boss of me. And just because you want me to do something doesn't mean that I have to do it. I have seen families in which that's a problem. The older brother or sister becomes almost like a second father. And, I never could accept that kind of foolishness. It was expected as a given. My family was, for all intents and purposes, even though we were in the West Indies, we were a traditional African family. The older brothers and sisters were to be treated like surrogate mothers and fathers. And I never could do that. I could never treat my older brothers as if they were my father or whatever. I never could. You know, and it was like, I know that they had the attitude of, well, I'm older than you, you better respect me. And my attitude was, nah, I earned my respect. Okay, and so I wasn't an easy younger brother, you know. And my mother says that from the time that I was a very small child, it didn't take much to get me to use these, you know, even against my own brothers and sisters. Sorry to say, but it's the truth. The point is that I understand brother and sister, you know, saying, the younger one saying to the older one, no, I'm going to live my life, because I did the same thing, you know. So just because, and let me say this, there were times when my brothers protected me when I was younger. Once I started getting a little older, you know, I never asked them for anything. But when I was younger, when I was before I hit the age of 10, there were times, a few times, that they protected me. For the most part, I protected myself, and I always was very, very independent. If you look at the Bible, okay, there are several instances where God chooses a younger brother over an older brother. Cain and Abel, God chose a younger brother. King David and all of his brothers, David was the youngest in the family. Israel and his brother, or Jacob and his brother Esau, Jacob was the younger brother. Okay, God doesn't really judge people on their age. He judges them on their, and I could go on, by the way. There have been several, Ephraim and Manasseh and Ephraim. When the time came for God, for Jacob, who by then had been renamed Israel, to choose which one he was going to bless, they put the older brother near the right hand and the younger brother near the left hand. The right hand was supposed to be the hand that possessed the greatest blessing. They naturally assumed that the older brother was going to receive the greater blessing. Jacob crossed his hands and put the right hand on the head of the younger brother and the left hand on the head of the older brother. What I'm trying to say is this. Sometimes Allah will look at two brothers and He will say, this one is younger, but he will be a greater servant to me than this one. Okay? And He chooses the younger. It's only in African culture and in cultures that derive from Africa that people act like if, you know, the order that you're born in determines everything. And, you know, with all due respect to older brothers, there are older brothers that are not really wise, that are foolish. There are older brothers that may not really have much going on. You know, it's like just to assume that a person should be treated in a certain way because they're older is dangerous. Okay, in Japanese, and everybody knows that this is true in the cultures of West Africa, where the older brother is preferred, the older son is preferred. Okay, it's called primogeniture. And primogeniture is a tradition that has existed among human beings, even from the days of the Bible. But it has nothing to do with the will of God. As I have said, God will frequently choose a younger person. Okay, in Japan, there's something that's called, in Japanese culture, there's something that's called the worthy heir doctrine. And what that means is that when the time comes, let's say that you have a family that was they were feudal lords of a realm. Or in modern Japan, they say that you have a family that owns a big company. A lot of the big companies in Japan are owned by families. What happens when when there's going to be a generational shift? They look at the family, and if the older brother, the older son, is unworthy, they'll go to the younger son to make him responsible for the company. And if it goes beyond that, even if the youngest son is unworthy, they'll go completely outside the family and find an employee who is loyal to the company, hardworking and wise, and they'll make him they'll adopt him into the family and make him the heir. The point is that look at the success that Japan has had. It is one of the most powerful economies in the world. They don't believe in this stupidity of, hey, just because you were, just because you were born earlier, you're entitled to be treated like if you're a god. No. Okay, so I think that D, in the long run, has made the right decision. Mara is in bed, sick, feeling broke, feeling heartbroken. Probably he's gotten around to realizing that that young woman is not going to hang around, that she's going to go on with her life. In the meantime, Dee is in Jamaica, and she's becoming healthier. She's living her own life, having a good time. I submit to you that Dee is the wiser person. People are saying, oh, Dee is going to come for him once she gets to a certain number of members. Maybe so, but I think that there's a lot more to this story than meets the eyes. Our older brother, sometimes there's a saying that they have. You can climb to the highest, and this is a West African tribal proverb. You can climb to the highest tree and still not see as far as your elders or your older brother can see standing on the ground. Rubbish. I have known so many older brothers that were complete and total fools. Okay, and just because you're an older brother doesn't mean that you should manipulate your younger brothers and sisters by giving them a room in your house and thinking that after that you should be able to have access to their money that they have worked hard for. No, that's not I respect Dee. Dee is finally asserted herself in a way that demands respect. I think that that's very, very good. Familia Angu, Asante Asana, for having taken the time to watch my video. You are part of the family of Babu Eli. You are a part of the tribe of Babu Eli. You are part of the nation of Babu Eli. May Allah, may Hashem bless each and every one of you. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. And I just hope everything continues to go well for you. May you never lack. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't done so, please do so now. Smash that button. Mara used to say that. I always used to love it when he would say, smash that button. May God be with each and every one of you. Kwaheri.